Crouchy's off to get himself some nachos. Metro Cross, a 1985 arcade game from Namco, infamous for the cover of the US Gold home version, which features, well, what can only be described as Peter Crouch in a blue lycra jumpsuit, and he's off to get himself some nachos, clearly. But for everyone else who hasn't seen that cover before, it's a horizontally scrolling game. It runs on the same hardware as Pac-Land, so that'll give you an idea of how this kind of thing is working. And you have a runner and you have a time limit to get through each level, running from left to right whilst avoiding obstacles and bits of the floor that can swallow you up or slow you down. US Gold got the license for the home versions, and it was converted by Probe. Versions for the C64, Spectrum, Amstrad CPC and Atari ST, and we're starting on the 64. There's player 1 and player 2, but it's turn-based. You can't play against each other. We can, but it's turn-based. So I'm running along. Oh, you need to jump over the cans. Jump over that. Crush the other cans or kick them. Sometimes kicking a can can give you a bonus or can freeze the timer. Oh. You have to react very fast when things are coming towards you. Over to the Amstrad version. Much nicer loading screen than the C64. This says Namco 82, but I'm sure this is a 1985 game, so I don't know what Probe are thinking here. So off we go. And you can see through my eye inexplicably. Rather blocky graphics on the Amstrad and jerky movement. But I'm not going to complain that slightly slower speed, because it gives you a bit more of a chance to see things as they're coming towards you. Oh, what I want to do is kick those. Oh, no, there was a springboard there that I could have... time to stop there, so that's good. Springboards you can jump on and you get propelled forward. It's a 48k only game on the Spectrum, but I'm running this on my +2. And off we go. Now, I'm playing a bug-fixed version of the game. The game essentially can't be completed if you play the original version, and I'm not having a repeat of Psycho Hopper. Nice and fast on the specky, very clear graphics. Oh, yeah, there you go, I get propelled forward. And yes, there is an ST version, which is looking far closer to the arcade, although not as close as you think it might be, all things considered. Oh, get that springboard. Oh, squashed. The cans aren't essential. Well, they kind of are essential some of the levels. They stop the timer, but you don't have to worry too much about them on the earlier levels. That's enough. I'm getting very tight now. 4 seconds left. I finished that with 3.2 seconds left, so perhaps I should have got some more of the cans. Back on the 64, ready to complete level 1. There we go. And that's how you do it with 18 seconds left, because I've got enough cans on that. ChinnyVision gave the C64 version 6 out of 10. Commodore user, 71%. It came out in July 1987, or was reviewed then, and it's getting a re-release in reviews by November 1988. So very quick turnaround on the Kicks label for this. Level 2 on the 64. Jump over there. And back to the Spectrum. This is level 2. There's a skateboard. Now, if you get a skateboard, you are immune to the slowdown tiles on the ground. They're quite well you wobble your hands around. I've never seen skateboarders wobble their hands around, or Tony Hart, or not Tony Hart, so Tony Hawk's Tony Hawk's, he doesn't wobble his hands around, or does he? Or does he? Oh, the skateboard there. Yeah, the skateboards are really cool. And here I am, crouchy on my skateboard here on the Amstrad. I'm using an involuntary cheat on the Amstrad version because I just downloaded a normal version without any trainer on it, and I appear to have got infinite time, which might reflect what the guys who hacked or improved the Spectrum version said. They complain that some of the time limits are extremely difficult, and indeed by the time you get to level 15, impossible. You can't complete the Spectrum version on level 15 unless you've got the bug fixed version. So perhaps that's what the Amstrad people have done, that is fix the timer. I need to use the springboards to complete this one. Well, the other things the people who've bug fixed the Spectrum version have done is you can't play this level properly on the Spectrum because you need to be able to jump diagonally from the springboards, and as Probe shipped it, you can't do that. So it's level 4 on the ST. It's very nice, a very early example of an ST game. US Gold quite into this, weren't they? They did Xevious as well on the ST. And on the 64... oh, those things are vents. I mean, playing this, the thing it reminds me of is Shockwave Rider, which I vastly prefer. Spectrum version, I've got a speed up power up, so I'm zooming along very fast. But speed up power up is quite dangerous because things can come hurtling towards you rather quickly. And getting towards the end of the level, hopefully you get a little indicator on the bottom showing you how far along the level you are. Managed to stop the timer. Apparently Metrocross was the 9th most popular arcade game of 1985, according to Wikipedia anyway. And level 7 on the Specky. The other bug fixes on the version I'm playing is that there's rats in the game who can attach themselves to you and slow you down, and they've added more of those in and in the correct places because apparently the Spectrum version isn't mirroring the arcade or the other versions, so that's been fixed as well. Onto the Amstrad, and this soundtrack gets on your nerves. By now it's on a very short loop. Also, all the use of yellow on this level. Why am I yellow in the background level? They could have used different colour. I don't see what the problem would have been. On the Amstrad, you don't have a restriction like that, so slightly strange. That's a rat that went past me there. They're green for some inexplicable reason. Again, I don't know on the Amstrad version if they're appearing in the right places. I need to get that. That should be a speed up. Power up. There we go. Oh, tyres. I find on the Amstrad, if you just keep on jumping past obstacles like cubes, tyres and anything else, you don't seem to hit them. Level 9 on the ST, and it's quite jolly here. I just wish it had slightly bigger sprites and looked a little bit more like the arcade, because there's no reason why it shouldn't. The ST is actually more powerful than the arcade hardware, but it's a question, I guess, of how much time Probe want to put into it. Because that, for example, the backgrounds up there are solid grey, whereas on the arcade rather, they are very detailed kind of panels, kind of spaceship panel type things. And level 10. The thing is, this is such a middling game. It doesn't get me excited, it doesn't get me angry, it just kind of is there. Like a beige carpet, or a particularly bland shirt that you wear for, formal occasions or something. It does the job as a computer game. It's playable. Same with the arcade. It's all right, but it doesn't set the world alight. It it's just... I find it hard to put it into words just how... just middling the entire experience is, whether it be on the arcade or on the home versions. There's me saying, well, this ST version could be more polished. They can't improve the gameplay. And, you know, Shockwave Rider is a kind of a rip-off of this, but it's a much better game. It's a much better game. Level 10 on the C64 running along. You know, even if there was a two-player co-op mode or against each other, you're running on the screen at the same time. But you don't get that, it's just turn-based. And there's no excuse for that in an arcade game. I can understand it on home systems, but in an arcade game, why not have two players on the screen at once and you're both avoiding the baddies? Back to the Specky. Come to the end of level 10. There we go. And same on the Amstrad, just so you can compare. Oh, I've run out of time and died on level 13 on the Spectrum. Level 15 on the C64. Yeah, I was criticising Ninja Scooter Simulator the other week for being a bit repetitive. And of course, Ninja Scooter Simulator rips this game off, well, pretty much totally. And yet actually, I find that, because it's a budget game, I don't mind it as much. This, I'm just playing it and it's taking so long to get through the game. And it's just boring, just dull. Change the music every other level. Do something. Change more variation of landscapes. Yeah, it's just bland. And we're on level 24 on the ST. Should be roughly the end of the game. Level 24 isn't that much difference to level 9 or 12 or 15. Harder time limits, yes, but you're not seeing anything new and exciting. And you certainly ain't hearing any new music. And that should be game over and finished on the ST. Goal in. I've completed all the levels. Thank you for running Metrocross. Level 24 on the 64. There we go. All done. The problem with Metrocross, be it in the arcade or in the home, is it's just so average. And when you've got an average arcade game, then the best you're ever going to get on the home systems is an average conversion. There's just no variation or thrills and spills. You start to play it, you think this is fine, and then you get to level 5, 6, you think, what more have you got for me? But it's really just tighter time limits and a few more baddies on the screen. There's nothing to see. It's not like other arcade games to get a change of scenery, change of music, something just to break it all up. No, it's just level after level of running along. I like the ST version. It's a good example of an early ST arcade conversion, like the version of Xevious that Probe did for the system. It could be more polished, it could look better, it could potentially better the arcade hardware, but I guess Probe didn't have the time to do that. So yeah, it does look a little bit bland in those backgrounds, but it plays as well as you could expect for a home conversion of this era. Same with the 64. It's an average game, and I think when CMVG gave it 6 out of 10, they weren't criticising Probe, more probably the original gameplay mechanic. Spectrum version, clear graphics, plays well enough, and yes, YS gave it 8 out of 10, but Sinclair User gave it 5 out of 10, and for gameplay, I'd suggest that's a more representative score. Amstrad version, well, I question some of those colour choices, and it's a little bit jerky scrolling along, and why can I see through my eye? But again, it's all the lack of thrills and lack of spills of the Metrocross arcade game. On the Specky, of course, there are those bugs. I'm playing a bug fix version, so you wouldn't have had that advantage back in the day, so you would have never have got past level 15, although I only got to level 13 playing it without cheating. But you know what? The bug fixes don't make the game any better. And I mentioned Shockwave Rider earlier. Similar mechanic, but vastly improved with the conveyor belts and the jumping around and all the different things going on. So it takes this concept and improves on it immensely. And I'd much rather be playing that than this rather mediocre beige arcade game from Namco.